If you're a new streamer trying to make a name for yourself on Twitch or YouTube or wherever, things can get kinda overwhelming kinda quickly. There's just too much saturation on these platforms, so building any substantial fan base is nearly impossible. However, we still regularly see new streamers blow up and become big-time creators. But how do they defy the odds? Let's dig in and find out. First up, choose something less popular and get good at it. Now, it's pretty easy to look at these massive streamers playing Fortnite or Warzone and think to yourself, wait a minute, I can do that too. Don't fall into the allure of this popular game thing though, especially when you're just starting out. You see, the thing is that literally everyone is playing and streaming these games, and the chances are you're probably not the best player in the world at that game. Not only that, but with these more mainstream games, it can be kind of hard to be engaging and entertaining while playing them. Most of the big streamers who are playing these games are either former esports pros or have some insanely good gimmick. So instead, try going for a much more niche audience. Remember, it's a lot easier to survive as the big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. Now, that less popular game can literally be anything depending on what you're into. RPGs? Try modding Morrowind and creating your own little adventure. Or maybe you're super good at speedrunning or through a puzzle game. Just choose something that you can be good at, but nothing too obscure that no one's gonna look at it. Like, don't play Beethoven the Ultimate Canine Caper. I mean, just be reasonable. Of course, these games won't have 500,000 people watching them, so your chances of streams suddenly blowing up overnight is gonna be pretty low, but hey, at least you won't be buried under the 50,000 other streamers playing Warzone. This thing has worked for countless other streamers who have built communities around these very specific games, and even massive events like Games Done Quick use the same tactic to attract their audience. Now, don't use a toaster for streaming. Seriously though, most people will tell you that you don't need any equipment to start streaming and you can just do with whatever you have. That's really outdated advice. It would have worked like 5 years ago, most likely. It really doesn't work these days. You see, modern streaming audiences are used to watching high production quality on their streams. So if they tune into somebody using a toaster microphone, it makes them sound like a chipmunk Darth Vader. They're probably not gonna stick around for longer than a couple of seconds. Now, you might say streamers like Tyler One have terrible streaming equipment and they're doing pretty well. But the thing is, they've been doing it for almost a decade, and that whole toaster mic quality, he could afford a better mic. It's kind of become his thing now. Which doesn't mean that you need to spend hundreds of dollars on streaming equipment, and in fact, these days you can get a pretty decent microphone and the webcam for like 50 bucks. And make sure that your voice is clear and coherent, and also that you look the part, because most of your competitors probably have some pretty insane setups already. And now, don't go too hard on the production quality either. There's a balance. Now, while maintaining some quality, especially when it comes to your audio or capture device, is important, you're really not supposed to overdo it. We see streamers with these insane, elaborate transitions and animations all the time. But the thing is, you're really not supposed to delve into that stuff unless you're already big. Yes, having chatbots and setting up the perfect layout with incredible camera angles can be super satisfying, and they can even attract a certain type of audience. But when you're trying to grow, these things shift the focus away from your personality and your content. So focus on the content first, and then you can get to sorting out all the nitty-gritty fine details later. After all, there's no point in having a billion stream plugins if your content is suffering because of it and you don't have any followers. Also, there's this weird rush to match TV production quality on streams these days, and to cater more to the traditional audience. However, the thing is that while that can grab a viewer's attention just based on the nostalgia or the wow factor or how clean it looks, this sort of tactic can also get pretty stale pretty fast. Besides, if someone wanted to watch TV instead of a Twitch stream, they'd do that. You need to play to the strength of your platform, and for streaming, that's audience engagement. Remember, people, they tune in to watch the games or the personalities they like, not some sick stream overlays. And don't forget to exaggerate your personality. If you've never met a successful streamer in real life, you know that they're not nearly as upbeat or high energy as they usually are on stream. And that's because while streaming, you might look casual, like you're sitting down talking to a bunch of friends. It's actually way more than that. You are there to entertain people. And chances are that those people aren't there to listen to someone's low energy mumbles to themselves. So the first step is to maintain your energy and inject some life into your streams. Besides, nobody wants to watch somebody just sitting there with a monotone voice. Once you've raised your energy levels, the next step is to inject your personality into it. Now, you might be some super snarky person, or you might be an aggressive person while playing games. The trick is to hone on to whatever your strongest personality trait is and turn that stuff up to 11. We see big streamers get angry and rage out all the time, and while that doesn't look like a good thing, it always gets clicks and it always gets views across social media. And also, some people are just built to troll other people. They just are. So that could be a viable alternative as well. Just figure out what you do best and run with it. Tie rewards to audience engagement. People love love when their donations or subscriptions are recognized and read out loud by a streamer. It's just something that subconsciously works with these parasocial relationships. But sometimes going over the top for your audience engagement really gives you that catalyst to grow, you know? For instance, a lot of people do an elaborate dance when they get 5 gifted subs, or they make up some random lore about characters and continue with a story about each additional donation. It could literally be anything. You could sing for every individual sub when you're starting out. It all depends on what you feel like doing. But rewarding your audience for engaging with your content is definitely the key point, the biggest takeaway here. Not only that, but there's also an untold secret in the streaming community about channel growth. You see, a lot of streamers don't actually accept donations and ask their viewers to donate gift subs instead. Now, that might not seem like the ideal thing to do since the platform takes a cut of all subscription earnings, but since people outside your community will get notified about a gift sub to your channel, they'll tune in to see what's up, and some of them are going to stick around. And not only that, but the stats show that even those people who've been gifted their subscriptions still tend to watch the streamers and engage with the community in chat. Now, this could be because of that sweet sub badge, or because your channel emotes, but if it makes people feel like they're a part of a community, they're more likely to tune in regularly. Finally, have a gimmick. We've seen this done time and time again for every single streamer out there, but for some bizarre reasons, they always seem to work. If everything fails and you just can't attract audiences to your channel, just pick a crazy gimmick. Now, you might think that by gimmick we mean putting on a character or cosplaying, but the thing is that literally everyone is doing that these days. So to really stand out, you really gotta come up with the craziest gimmick character ever, or find more creative ways to stand out. For instance, only a couple of weeks ago, a small-time streamer got famous because he threw a rave every time he got a kill in Call of Duty. Now, in theory, that sounds like a wild idea, but it caught everyone's attention. Of course, you won't know what works for you until you try it, and there's tons of trial and error out there to be done. But that's the thing, to stand out, you have to do things that no one else has done before or thought about. After all, standing out is more than just being good, it's about being noticeable. And gimmicks are the perfect way for you to stick out like a sore thumb and really imprint yourself onto the audience's mind. Remember, there are a ton of streamers sitting in front of a PC playing a game, but how many of them are also going to be vampires from the 1800s who still don't quite understand what the modern world is? You get what I'm going for, right? So head out there, experiment, and eventually you're going to find your audience. And that's a wrap for this video. So what advice would you give to streamers who are trying to stand out and grow their channels? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure, as always, to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.